Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. So before I start, I would like to share with you one story because I was chatting few days ago with one of my friends, and I told him I'm going to give presentation at Intersec, IOSH conference, and he said, and told him like the presentation will be uh, uh, at 4:50 p.m. Then he said, let me share with you another story. He said like 2 years ago, I was presenting. I was the last presenter. So the present ended up around 5. So he said, when I got to the room, I did see only 5 people sitting there, and he said I was a little bit surprised because all of them they had the same uniform. And he said like I was presenting, try to bring their attention, but for some reason they were not interested. But at the end of the presentation, he said they realized that they were the housekeeping crew because they was just waiting for me to finish. So now I'm going to give him the feedback that the story is not quite similar. So we have we have a good audience today. So thank you very much. I appreciate your commitment, but to me is basically your commitment to safety for being here at this time. It's probably more than the reliability of a lot of AI models out there. So let me figure out how this works. So I think this one, yeah. So I think AI. There have been a lot of conversations about AI, and it became like the fashion today or the topic of conversation everywhere. And to get to a point that AI, it's like it has been used like a buzzword. That something every time we use AI as an argument in different conversations. But I would like to give perspective on an end user or someone who is coming from the field or has been. I have some explore have been exposed to business process automation. So I'm not going to go into the details why and why AI is important and if it's important or not and how it adds value, but we can go quickly through. So like basically why do we need AI? The question. So we need AI because we're trying to figure out how to prevent major incidents. So despite of the technology we have today, major process safety incidents is still happening. We are still killing people every year and we are still destroying assets on a yearly basis. So that's why as industry, we have to find out a better way how we can manage process safety. The things that the opportunity that we have is AI artificial intelligence. It has potential basically to support us with this ambition goals of reducing incidents. The the bad news is the AI is not standalone application or solution. It depends on so many variables. Okay, it depends on your strategies. It depends on the commitments, the accountability of your leadership, the culture of the organization, and also the quality of the data. So I just want to go. I know everybody here who is interested in safety, but I just want to go through these basics or fundamentals and why art still matters. Because at the end of the day, all what we do as technology or innovations or tools is to improve those key parameters. Basically, the workplace safety, the safety culture, the safety, the process safety, and the personal safety, the difference, how we can improve both of them. And also all these variables are incorporated in a backbone called the safety management systems. So, and everything we do basically or we implement should be to improve these safety fundamentals. So if we look at the historical and just the previous preventer, Muhammad Abdullah touched base on this and how we progressed in terms of process safety. So we went basically from standard based to from standards based to compliance based to continuous improvement, then risk-based strategy. Now we're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, predictive analysis, where we aim basically to detect incidents before actually happen and prevent them. So if we talk about some of the potential, how AI can help us, so basically we're talking about the real, just mentioned the real-time monitoring and hazards detection. Basically, the system can help us with detecting the incidents or deviations in the process before actually an incident happen. The second thing is AI has the capabilities to interpret and analyze the data from a high number of sensors, and that's probably a human being cannot do in a timely fashion. The risk support, the risk-based decisions, because all what basically the key elements in a business decision, right or wrong, is basically the quality of the data that you use to make that decision, and we believe that AI can support us with that, and also the continuous improvement, the AI, probably we can use it, the analytics capabilities into to identify the gaps in our management systems. So now the question here, uh, what is the success rate, or how good or how successful AI has been so far? Any number, any thoughts, any percentage from you guys? Guys, someone give me just is there is no right or wrong, because the data is not confirmed if it's accurate. So there was a study done by MIT University, MIT, for on AI pilots, and what they found, although the study was criticized by some researchers, by some researchers for in terms of the sample of the study also, but 95% of the AI pilots failed. And that raises a big question for us, because we're safety. We cannot fail. We cannot rely on a system that we're not sure that he will protect us. So failure of an AI, an application, or failure of system, it's a major incident. It's a catastrophe. So then I looked at probably around a dozen of technical papers, and some of them are from the 90s. I was surprised that there were conversations in the 1990 about the AI, artificial intelligence in safety. And what I found is there was a consensus between AI is an automation of a business process. You have business process, you want to make it efficient. So then the tool that you use is the technology, is the artificial intelligence. So basically, if the company, if that business process for whatever reason is broken, the AI cannot help you much. And the reason why, and I identified 15 basically reasons why, 15 reasons why those pilots failed. And I can share you an experience with you. Some of the experiences that I was exposed to them personally. The first one is basically if the company doesn't have a lack of a vision, it lacks the vision, why they need to implement or to adopt AI. So because it's kind of, instead of AI being looked as a tool for of improvement, it became like fashion, marketing. Yeah, we're using AI, but we don't know why, we don't know how, we don't know what's the benefit. Another thing is, if I go ask the employees, you ask your employees or leadership, starting from the leadership, how they see the benefit of AI interpretation. So if your employees, starting from the leadership, are not engaged and there is no buy-in for that, they don't believe that AI, whatever the capabilities it has, it will help you, probably it will not be successful. Because these guys, they will not put their heart, they will not basically work hard on it to make it successful. And organization resistance and all the conspiracy theories that comes with it, in terms of taking jobs and like that dark tunnel that we are in and we don't know the end. So people who is going to adopt the system, that's probably keep him jobless or make him jobless. So that's one of the reasons that sometimes people they resistant to the because they don't know the end of the story. And what does it mean for them as a consequences? Yes, we're going probably to reduce the cost of the company. But if the company is going to reduce the cost because I'm going to be fired, so how I'm going to be a part of that? Another thing is the poor definition of the problem. So now, if we're talking about efficiency and effectiveness in terms of our business processes, so what is that problem or highest priority for us that we want to solve with implementing or adopting these API uh, artificial intelligence application? So another thing that we we tend to ignore because we tend to start the process from the middle. So basically the conventional process of management of change. And I'm sure now all the framework, process safety framework, they have an element about management of change. So, but for some reason, uh, organizations, when they try to adopt technology, they tend to ignore that process and they jump in the middle and they start talking about like adopting new system or new application, ignoring the risk that goes with that adoption in terms of the benefit. What is the benefit? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to make a change, assuming or aiming to get a benefit, you have to quantify at least that benefit of the beginning. What does it mean at the end when the application gets implemented? And what are the risks that comes to be including all the risk relating to this process, to this adoption, from starting from the planning until the rollout and the implementation, in terms of training, in terms of understanding, in terms of so and so. So, and also one of the biggest problems that we face and I get a lot of offers from today. I was moving around and wherever I go, people, they try to sell you one application. But I've been telling them, guys, I'm not after the application. I'm not after the technology. I'm after solving a problem. So a problem that is related, that is preventing me from achieving my strategy. So like organizations, they have to go from trying to adopt new technology because I like it. It's like you go to a shop and you like t-shirt. Probably you don't need it. You buy it, you go put it at home in your cabinet. You might not see it probably for another 5 years. That's the same thing that is happening here. We get excited about something, we buy it, we try to adopt it, it doesn't work, then people, they get frustrated, then it didn't work, the AI failed because we failed it. And like for the sake of the time, so and the companies, they lack a roadmap. So if you want to implement something new, to adopt something new, you need to have clear step-by-step process from start to finish. So guys, just for if someone wants the presentation, I have no option. Or I can share it with the organization. Organizer can share it with you. No problem. Another thing is you have an existing system. Because when we talk about adopting AI, so the backbone of the AI is the data. And if I talk about an organization, you have so many platforms. Especially you have the SAP, for example, the subsystem for managing your maintenance. You have the WellView for managing your upstream data. So those all platforms, they have to communicate together in a proper structure. How you can have that all structured properly so that the algorithm can work properly. And also, if you go to those AI applications are developed basically by developers, and they like the understanding of the business. So now, how we can, the biggest challenge is that gap between a safety professional and a developer, computer science and engineer, that he develops. So how this communication happen? Because that gap creates, so most of the time we develop an app, okay, then we try to make it fit to our business. Thinks it should be the other way around. So the project, the one who should lead is the end user. He's the one who knows the process. He knows the gaps in the process. So you're going to help him. The app should help him to close that gap. And also the quality of the data, because basically how the AI, whatever the type of the application, how smart the application is, the quality of the data. So if the quality of the data quality is poor, then you're just, AI will help you make wrong decision faster. So, and I can share you an example. Back in 10 years ago, 2014 exactly, we tried to build predictive analysis model. I was with operations upstream at the time, and we want to build kind of a predictive analysis model to help us predicting the failures of downhole pump, basically before they even fail. So we can prepare for that, prepare the programs and all of these things. Guess what? At the beginning, we got all excited that, oh, it's a new technology, and with the contract, our service provider with one of the biggest companies in the world. And we got a lot excited, and we start talking about the algorithms and how we can make like that fantastic picture and that dream that we will have 2 months before the pump fail. We get to know how long it took us to figure out to clean the data. 2 years. This is just how long it took us to build the algorithm. Few months. And we spent another 2 years trying to train the model. So that's why when we talk about like the AI, I always tell the guys, it's not like, it's an automation of a business process. Okay, so now you're going to use the data. You have 10, most of the companies now, because we keep adopting those platforms, you have 10 platforms. Each platform has set of data. How you can get, the challenge is how you can get all this data together, structured for an algorithm to process it and give you what you want out of it. So I think for the sake of the time, I'm going to stop here in terms of the causes of failures. But the most important, the message here is AI is part of management. It's part of management system. If your management system is ineffective for whatever reason, is the leadership, the culture, AI will not help you much. So, and we looked at different, what is the best approach for successful implementation of AI. And what is from my experience and from my, I audited more than 100 organizations in terms of process safety management, including like automation. And the reason why all these failures, they happen because they like structured process. So if you want to build a plant or new project, we follow the 4 steps: planning and preparation, execution, basically the commissioning and startup, then operations, maintenance until decommissioning. Why we don't use the same logic, the same traditional process for AI application? So, and that's exactly where the failures happens, because we like this. So basically, if you want, for whatever, based on your need to adapt an AI or technology, because you want some enhancements, that's the things you should follow the same exactly traditional process. It starts with your vision, strategy, alignment, MOC initiation, the business case. You need to understand what you quantify, at least the benefit, what you want to achieve. Then you identify your resources. Then it goes to the normal process, the project charter, the project, identifying the project team, and risk register. So when we talk about the risk register, this is critical piece for me, because a risk register, that's the key success in all the whole process, because you should understand the impact that can basically that can impact the success of your project. That's one thing. And the second thing, what are the risks from adopting this system? Now, can you, if I ask the room here, can anybody is confident now to trust AI and leave the control room empty? Nobody. And we can send everybody home and let the control room, the system, the PLC or whatever do you have to run the process. I'm sure probably I will get the 99%, especially from the field people. They will say, yeah, no, I would never trust that. So the second thing is the execution. As I'm not going to go to the details, but so the biggest to me here, step to me here is the data preparation. So how you can structure, how you can clean the data, how you can structure the data in a way, gather the data in a way can be used and processed by the algorithm. The third step is basically the testing. How we make sure that we have a proper testing for the system. And the proper testing, it means that we test the model in a real case scenario. And with that, we need to have set of KPIs. We need to understand what are the key performance, how we are going to measure that, and the approach or the rationale behind picking or deciding on these KPIs. Then going to the rollout. Now, the things I always advise everybody, if you want to try something, especially when it can impact safety, you need to have the two systems running in parallel. You cannot just, we test the model, it looks good to us. We can go with it. So there should be some time, give enough time to the model to be trained, and you confirm that the data you're getting is what the response is getting is validated, and the confidence in the system is there before you can say, yes, I'm going to rely on this system to making the decisions. And the continuous improvement, as is not different. You look on your cell phone after 3 years, probably it becomes outdated and you need to go for a new one. That's the same thing. You need to make sure that your models are up with the technology and the updates, and what is required is taking place. So I think we don't have the time. So anyways, we detailed all these steps on for successful implementation to the details step by step. If someone wants to have a conversation about one of them offline, I will be more than happy to do that. But there's all the steps, required steps for each, tasks for each step. And this is, I'm going to show you an example for Fujairah oil industry zone. So we're not, we developed the roadmap and we started the implementation. So we have set of clear goals that we want to achieve. We're focusing in low-hanging fruits by getting all the data and how we can leverage that, at least for instead we're far away from getting to predictive analytics, but having now monitoring the emissions. For example, if you have vapor in the system, if you have vapor coming from a tank or from flange, and you have someone doing welding, those basic stuffs, the system will flag them and tell you there will be a potential accident. But our aim is in 5 years to get here, but we are still, and we're doing it slowly. But this is, at the end of the day, we want, because we have an emergency response center, so we have a digital twin, and with all the data. So in case of emergency, the firefighters or the fire chief has access to all the data, the level in the tanks, the products in the tanks, the location, the access, the in and out, the exit, all these things. So when he deploys equipment to the site, he will be prepared. He doesn't need to go to the site and figure out how to build his tactical response. So we're optimistic about this, but we're going slow, very slow, step by step. We don't want to mess up anything. So with this, I got to the end of my presentation. These are the references that I used for this presentation. If anyone wants to have this conversation further, I will be more than happy to have that. But for now, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. I'm sure everybody has plan by now, and see you next time.